Hello, dear friends. This is your weekly astrology horoscope and my second attempt to record this video. Hopefully, it will work out. Mars is retrograde in Gemini. So, of course, we can expect some technological issues or problems with communication, with softwares, all of that. So, it is how it is. Before we dive deeper into the upcoming week, which is very interesting, I want to invite you to join me on Sunday, on the 6th of November, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, for a free webinar. We will talk about Saturn and Uranus and this huge energy and battle between them that we are more or less all triggered by. And we will discuss how to handle with this battle between the old and the new world, how to understand if this is really important for you and what are the keys, how you can handle with that. So join me, it will be free. You can ask your questions. We will be on Zoom, so the link is below and I will try to record it. So if you can join us live, you can watch it later. About this week, yes, Saturn and Uranus will play a huge role. That's why I actually decided to do this extra webinar for you, so you have even more preparation and information. But as you will notice, there are many aspects triggering Saturn and Uranus, and yes, they are challenging aspects. So we might face with some obstacles. There could be some unexpected things. I guess in certain areas there could be some delays. In other areas things may move much faster than we expect. So one of the tasks actually might be to find the right rhythm. When do you need to slow down? When do you need to push harder? And to be able to switch in between and to be flexible. Not easy to be flexible when Saturn is so strong and puts so much pressure on us, but that's what makes things even more interesting. And of course, the biggest event of the week is the lunar eclipse, which is on Tuesday. More or less, we will talk about this as well during the webinar because Saturn and Uranus are playing a major role for this lunar eclipse. And it's, I would say, a very interesting time to let go of the past, to look at the future, and to enjoy this huge transformation. Let's start with Monday first. On Monday, we have a square between Venus and Saturn, which can bring some emotional frustration, some kind of frustrations with relationships, with our desires, with what is very important for us emotionally. What's very helpful here is to be as realistic as possible, to be very grounded and practical and in touch with reality. If we don't have illusions, we will not have problems. But more or less, we all have some illusions. So Saturn is here to teach us some practical lessons. The moon is also in Taurus on Monday, which brings the same energy. We need to be grounded, in touch with reality, concentrated, to evaluate things from a very concrete, measurable perspective and to focus on practical things. Mercury is having some interesting aspects on Monday as well, which can help us to look at things from a different perspective. Overall, the mind can be quite active. And most importantly, because there is an aspect between Mercury and Pluto, we might be able to look at things from a deeper perspective. So don't focus only on the surface and on superficial things, but try to find a deeper meaning. On Tuesday, we have the lunar eclipse, the most important event of the week, very transformational, very intense. It's in Taurus and Scorpio, so it could be a turbulent time, but also a time when we can release old patterns, models, blockages, especially related to resources, money, energy, how we interact, how specifically the exchange of energy between us and the outside world. Mercury is also having an exact opposition with Uranus on this day, which can bring some surprising events, news, ideas. There could be insights and breakthroughs, but that's the positive side. The challenging side is that there could be some irritation, the nervous system might be extremely sensitive. We sometimes may take some reckless decisions or ideas which may not be very appropriate, let's say. So the mind is very, very active. It's time for new ideas, changes, and liberation of the mind. That's like so important. Mercury is also having an exact conjunction with the Sun on Tuesday, which is a wonderful time for self-analysis and self-exploration. To look at yourself, to analyze yourself, to try to be as honest as you can with yourself, to let go of some illusions, fake ideas. That's what will bring you the liberation and the freedom. So the day is extremely transformational and yes, intense as well. On Wednesday, this pretty much continues because the Sun has an opposition with Uranus. So we can still expect insights, breakthroughs, but also unexpected things, shocking situations which require very fast adaptation and reaction, a situation which may not give much time to think or to respond. You just need to go with this. Wednesday is also wonderful for new ideas, for experimenting, for trying new creative approaches. And the moon is in Gemini, which also supports the mind, the thinking process, the communication, the exchange of ideas with other people. On Thursday, we have a very interesting combination. From one side, Mercury has a square with Saturn. So this can bring challenges for the mind. It might be difficult to find solutions, especially if we try to be very logical, very concentrated and practical. This might be somehow more difficult. It's very possible also to have some negative thoughts, pessimistic ideas, skepticism, criticism, all of those Saturnian stuff. So my recommendation is don't go too much in this direction. Don't try to find all the answers, all the solutions, through the mind. Instead, what can be much better is to focus on the intuitive, emotional stuff, because Venus is having a trine with Neptune also on Thursday. And what this means is that if we come from a place of openness on an emotional level, if we try to feel, to connect, to really allow ourselves to experience things, to use our intuition, our compassion, the results might be much better. And it's also a great time for healing, for creative work, for sharing our feelings. But again, not from the place of logic, but from the heart. It's a really, really nice time to pay attention to your feelings. The moon is in Gemini, so to share, to express is actually something great. Friday comes with a challenging aspect between the Sun and Saturn. We have a square, major challenging aspect. And this can also bring some delays, the need to slow down, to respect some boundaries. If you're someone who struggles with boundaries, and in my experience, I think many people struggle with this, it's a great time to work on that, to set some healthy boundaries, to say no, to put some limitations. This can be something internal, like some kind of self-discipline or something like that. or this can also be done in the outside world with other people if that's needed. Keep in mind that there could be difficulties with authority figures in some business projects. Again, here we need to be very concrete, very practical, very pragmatic, and also patient. Saturn, of course. Venus has a quincunx with Mars on Friday as well, which can be very interesting for relationships, for dates, for everything that we love and we are passionate about. This is an aspect which at first may bring some kind of difficulties, some kind of struggles, something that might be a provocation. But if we try to overcome this, if we put some effort, actually the results might be very positive. So generally, if you want to achieve something on Friday, you need to be prepared for some extra effort, extra work, and more patience. The moon is still in Gemini, so pay attention to your ideas, to what other people might be suggesting as well. And overall, the interaction is quite important. After that, during the weekend, we have a pretty emotional atmosphere. The moon will be in Cancer during both of the days, so focus on family, on close communication with the people that you love, on sharing, and even taking care of yourself, actually. Keep in mind that people are extra sensitive, they can take things too personally, they might be more offended easily, so yeah, watch out for those things. But at the same time, I think that we can really enjoy more closeness with others. On Saturday, there is also a trine between Mercury and Neptune, which is fantastic for creative work, for everything that requires more imagination or vision of something, or just, creative ideas. It's a great time for meditations or for doing something that will relax your mind. You need to relax. This is the time to let go. And in communication, this can bring softness, gentleness, compassion, empathy, understanding. So it's a really, really nice day and aspect that we have. And then on Sunday also, the atmosphere is emotional, but a little bit more in terms of passion, desire, could be about relationships, because Venus has a sextile with Pluto. Venus is in Scorpio, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, so there you go, you have those different connections. And it really is about passion and commitment and dedication and attachment and affection and closeness. So, of course, that's wonderful for relationships, but we may also use this energy for activities, projects, hobbies, or anything else that triggers similar emotions within us. Enjoy those deep, intense emotions, is what I would recommend you. Mercury has a quincunx with Mars on Sunday, so we need to find the way to materialize our ideas, or at least to take some action. And at first there could be some kind of this harmony, but if we are extra focused and if we put effort, it can turn into something very positive. So overall, pretty big week. Yes, the truth is that objectively it can be challenging, but also very interesting and very transformative. And on Sunday in our free webinar, we will focus more on navigating this time, Saturn and Uranus, how to find if that's really important for you, and even more importantly, actually, what is required from you, what is your solution. And you can also ask your questions. I would love to answer them. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.